This story is about a nurse working in a hospital in Luxembourg who sees a spirit dressed in white while tending to a sick patient. This story also shows the selfless service between a nurse and a patient, but in a scary way. This happened 10 years ago, when I worked as a nurse in a hospital where old and helpless people were waiting for their last days. Most of the patients were lying in bed, slowly moving towards their death, as if stuck somewhere between sleep and unconsciousness. I was on night duty with my dearest colleague friend. We both loved working together, like two silent watchmen in a dying fortress. Imagine 120 patients in the entire hospital and only 2 of us healthy people. Yes, some of them could still do their own work, but still that building, that night, there was something strange. Our most important rounds were between 3 a.m. and 5:30 a.m., changing diapers, giving medicines, giving water. That night there were 2 wards left. We had just entered the second ward when we heard a strange sound. A woman's voice, loud and clear, but there was some distortion in it, like an old radio frequency. But what was being said was not understandable. I said to my colleague, "Listen, something seems wrong." She put her ear in and said, "It's strange, it seems like someone has turned on the TV or the radio." I said softly, "But, Stephanie, who will turn it on here? These patients can't even move, and this sound is not coming from a closed room, it's coming from very close, as if someone is standing behind us." She looked at me, a slightly serious, slightly scared face, and said, "You are right, but let's finish the work." We walked on, ears glued to the spot, and then the sound stopped. For a moment, I froze. A thought came to my mind. Maybe I was tired. Maybe this was just a game in my mind. The best game consoles. We got to our next patient. He was in a terrible state. The bed, his clothes, even his body were all covered in wet feces. We had to clean the bed, bathe him, and put him in new pajamas, running back and forth between the bathroom and the bed. Finally, Stephanie said she would put a new shirt on the patient, so I started carrying all the dirty clothes and sheets out to our supply trolley in the hallway. We needed new sheets, blankets, skin cream, towels, so much, so we left the door open to make it easier to get things. My back was to Stephanie, but I could still hear her voice. She was saying something to the patient, gently straightening her up. As I stepped out, a dirty sheet slipped from my hand and fell to the floor. I bent to pick it up, and at that moment my eyes fell on the hallway through the open door. I have not been able to forget what I saw till date. An old, small figure, wrapped in a white nightie, was entering the hallway silently. Her body was a few inches above the floor. She was not walking, but floating in the air, absolutely silent. The first thought was whether Stephanie had come out, because nurses' uniforms are also white. But then the mind replied, "No, if Stephanie had come out, I would have seen her, right?" I froze there. My body was unable to move, as if time had stopped. Everything happened in just a few seconds. Then Stephanie's voice came from behind, laughing, in a very normal tone, "Hey, what's going on? Are you planning to walk around all night carrying these dirty sheets?" I jumped up. I turned to her and said in a trembling voice, "Steve, you were outside. I saw you walking in the hallway." She frowned and said, "No, I was getting the patient ready, remember? What happened to you? Your face has turned completely white. Is everything okay? Are you nauseous?" I dropped everything, sheets, clothes, everything, and ran like crazy into the hallway. That woman, her shadow was still there, moving towards the wall. And then in an instant, she walked through the wall, as if she was never there. Stephanie ran after me. She found me standing there. I was standing in a room with freezing winds, shivering. It was the heat of summer outside, but in that hallway, I swear, it felt like someone was standing with the fridge open. Stephanie said in surprise, "Oh my God. Why is it so cold here all of a sudden?" She hadn't seen the woman. And then, not knowing why, maybe there was some strange reality to that moment, I said, "We have to go downstairs. Mrs. Z is no longer in this world." She was stunned. "What? How can you say that? I saw her just a little while ago, she was sleeping." I looked into her eyes and said, "Steve, I saw her spirit. She just passed through this hallway." Stephanie, still confused, walked downstairs with me. When we reached Mrs. Z's room, it was strangely quiet, peaceful. And she was really gone. Her body was still warm, as if she had taken her last breath just moments before. We immediately called the medical staff to confirm her death. By the end of the shift, we had her thoroughly washed and dressed in a nice dress. I didn't say a word during the entire process. But Stephanie, she wouldn't sit still. She kept asking me questions over and over again, as if she had to somehow understand how this all happened. As soon as I reached home, I lay down on my bed. I was no longer scared, only surprised, deep, peaceful surprise. I slept for a few hours and had a dream about Mrs. Z. She was coming towards me, looking just like a young girl, absolutely beautiful, smiling. There was a soft white light around her, peaceful and soothing. She looked at me and said, "Thank you, son, for taking care of me for so many years. Now I have to go." Much later, when I started thinking deeply about the events of that night, then I understood one thing. The strange, radio-like voice I had heard in the beginning was actually an EVP, electronic voice phenomenon, of Mrs. Z's spirit. If you like this story, please subscribe to our channel and like the video.